Hi everyone, this is Mr. Chang, and in this video we're going to take a look at while loops, and specifically we're going to take a look at the while true do loop. Previously we learned that a conditional statement executed code between the then and the end if the condition was true. Now these statements executed just once depending if the condition was true, but what if we wanted these statements to be repeated while the condition was true? Now, to do this, we have a construct called a loop. A loop is used to repeatedly execute a statement or block of code. And one type of loop that we're going to take a look at in this lesson is a while loop. So if you look at the flow chart here, the while loop works a little bit differently than the if that we looked at previously. So the flow of execution is the order in which the statements are executed. And as we can kind of see here, when we have our condition, it keeps looping while the condition is true. So let's say we have a statements that we want executed. Now, previously, when we had our if condition, this just executed once, and now we're going to keep looping and looping while the condition is true. Unlike an if conditional statement, which values just once, again, our while condition will execute as long as the condition is true, until the condition is false. Now, our code is going to get a little more complicated now. So whenever you're working with loops, you should think about these important questions. Should the statements be inside of the loop or outside of the loop? In other words, do you want these statements repeated? Now, if those statements are outside of the loop, consider if the statement or statements should come before the loop starts or after the loop ends. Now let's go ahead and create a ball that changes color every second to demonstrate this idea. So let's go ahead and go into Roblox Studio, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a sphere over here. And I'm just going to move it over here. And now let's go ahead and rename this. We're going to rename this to ball part. All right, now let's go ahead and add a script to our ball part. So we're going to say local part equal workspace dot ball part. All right, now in Lua, a while loop is constructed as follows. So while the condition is true, and we're going to construct in this case a while true condition. While the condition is true, we're going to execute the code from the do to the end. Now, what we're going to do is an example of an infinite loop. Now, be very careful when working with infinite loops in general, because now if you write code that infinite loops that executes infinitely, you may have your script and or Roblox Studio crash. Now let's just try this out for a second here just to kind of see this. Don't try this at home. So we've got while true do, and I'm going to be brave and I'm going to execute this. Now, if you notice here, I've got my green bar is running, and my computer is spinning and spinning. And after a period of time, Roblox has this message here that says script timeouts, exhausted allowed execution time. So Roblox will, after a period of time, time out your script. In other words, there's a maximum time that your script can execute. And this is to kind of protect your computer. Otherwise, it would just keep executing and potentially, again, even this very simple code that I just wrote here would end up crashing your computer. All right, now in the while loop, we're going to assign the variable random color to a random brick color using brickcolor.random. So brickcolor.random chooses between available brick colors that Roblox has already decided. So let's go ahead and we're going to have local random color equal brick color random. And this is similar, if you recall from a few lessons ago, to our RGB code. So this is similar, not exact. this, I would say, has more possibilities than the colors already defined by Roblox. Now, let's go ahead and try out our script here. So we've got while true do. And again, we're going to change our color, our brick color at every iteration, every time it loops. So we've got part brick color equal random, random color. And I'm going to add this 1 here. And the reason why I'm adding this 1 here is because we do have to wait a little bit. Otherwise, our computer executes code so quickly that it would almost seem like it's crashing. So we've got earth green here. And as we can see kind of like down below, as it's changing colors, it's printing out all of these colors that Roblox already has predefined. Now, again, I'll just kind of note here that wait's the number of seconds specified between the parentheses. So in our code, we waited 1 second. And let's go ahead and try out here and see what happens if we take away the wait. We're going to see here that it's going to execute so quickly. This is probably not the effect that we want. Maybe we would do it at some one point, but probably not right now. Now, let's try something else here. So as I mentioned before, when working with loops, be careful what code you place inside of a loop. So let's say, for example, we place the random color equal brick color dot random outside of the loop. So let's go ahead and move this code here. And let's see what happens over here. So I'm going to put that back to 1. And let's go ahead and execute this. So again, here, if you look closely, the code here is just printing out oyster, but it only chose the random color once. And that's because, again, be careful when working with loops because the placement of the code matters. So here we had it outside of the loop, and that's why it only picked the random color once. And it is refreshing it every single time, but it's always staying the color of oyster. All right, I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.